A very warm and pleasant good morning to each and everyone present here. I am Janvi Kumari from BCA AKU Batch 1, Semester 3rd, and I am here to present a presentation of a topic, Java architecture. But before that, I would like to thank our professor, Mr. Raju Padhyay sir, for giving me this opportunity. Now let's begin with the topic. Java architecture. What is Java architecture? Java architecture is a comprehensive framework which involves creating, compiling and executing of Java programs. So, to understand this topic better, we have to know a few terms. First of all, which is source file, where we write the code. Class file, which is the compiled version of the source file, JVM. JVM, which is Java Virtual Machine, where the code is run, and if we need some functionality to work with that code, then we have API, which is Application Programming Interface. To help it, to understand it better, we have this diagram. So first of all, we have source file. Source file is something where a coder writes the code. As Java is a robust programming language which provide us the flexibility to write code and add functionality to it according to our need. After this, source file is saved with the .java extension. After this, the source file is compiled and it becomes a class file. Class file is saved with the .class extension, and this is the class file. If we need to share our code, we share it the class file, and because it is in the form of bytecode. After this, we can share the class file, or we can execute it in the JVM. To understand JVM better, first of all, we need to know about the JDK, which is Java Development Kit. It consists of Java runtime environment, an interpreter, a loader, compiler, which is Javac, an archiver, documentation generator, and tools, whatever which we need to develop a Java program, to develop an application. So this is a JDK where we have Javac, which is Java compiler, and other things like APIs. Now, JRE is a Java runtime environment which provides an environment to the code execution, and JVM is where the execution happens. This is JVM, JRE, and JDK. JDK stands for Java Development Kit. JRE stands for Java Runtime Environment. JVM stands for Java Virtual Machine, and this helps the Java to become an independent language which do not rely on the operating system. Now, moving back, first of all, the class file, which is the compiled version of the source file, will comes into JVM. Now we have class loader. Class loader is where the class is loaded dynamically and it's saved with the .file extension. And we have a bitcode verifier, because the class file, which is compiled version of the source file, here all code is converted into bitcode. So bitcode verifier has a job to verify that if the bitcode is completely fine or not, and if there is any security threat, it will stop there only. So after checking the bitcode, it will go to execution engine, and execution engine do its work. It execute the code line by line. Basically, it interprets the code line by line, but this makes the code execution very slower. Then we have a JIT compiler, which is just-in-time compiler. Just-in-time compiler helps the code to execute a bit rapidly, because if we have the same code again and again, it do not interpret again and again. It will execute directly with the help of JIT compiler. And if we want to add some functionality to it with the help of Java API, because it has certain GUI, date times, and kind of classes, interface, or methods, and along with these all are grouped into a package. So with the help of all these and a runtime environment, a Java code executes, and all the functions will happen. Now, I hope you all understand. If you have any question, you may ask.
Janvi, as you mentioned in your PPT, there is a word called bytecode in JVM. Can you explain that? What is bytecode and what does their work in that JVM?
Bytecode is basically an encrypted language which cannot be understood by a human. It is understood by machine, and as we have written the code in understanding language, a coder writes it in a Java language, okay, and then it turned into a bytecode. The language which is written by code cannot be understood by the computer, right? It should be converted into a machine language, which is bytecode. Okay, so that is the purpose of bytecode, to make it smoother for a computer to understand it.
You can further state about the bytecode and more the other way. Bytecode, what is bytecode? Yeah.
Sir, basically bytecode is the intermediate between the machine code and the source code. It means that bytecode is the intermediate between the machine code and the independent Java programming language, where we can write a code, so that bytecode will be there for the execution of a code into a machine code. It means bytecode will be converted the code in machine code, so that the JVM will able to understand very clearly, and then it will be able to execute the program.
Anybody else who can make it very clear about the bytecode?
See, regarding the bytecode, whenever you compile a Java program, your program is getting converted to a special code that is called bytecode. Normally, it is called intermediate code, and it is compatible to any kind of operating system, any kind of hardware devices, and this bytecode makes your program platform independent. So once it is getting converted into a bytecode, so it can run on any kind of device. That is the only reason in order to make your Java cross-platform programming language, we require the concept of bytecode. Whenever you run that bytecode on a target machine, that means in the machine where you wanted to execute, that machine is having a JVM. That JVM is going to interpret your given bytecode and it runs accordingly. So that could be the best and cleaner definition of bytecode. Anybody else has question? Yeah.
Janvi, you said that after the converting source file to class file, the class loader loads the file into the JVM machine. And here you said that the bytecode verifier verifies whether the code is correct or not, is there in some error or not. Then what is the need of additional compiler, that JIT compiler for the execution? Please explain.
Well, JIT compiler here, first of all, we have execution engine, right? It interprets the code line by line, but that makes it slower, right? Executing it line by line takes time. But so if let's assume we have a code of adding two numbers and we execute it again and again. So instead of executing line by line, as the JIT compiler knows that this kind of code is repeating, so it will compile it once and it will compile it once and further move with the process. So it will help you to take less time and help in better execution. Is your question?
So you said that JIT compiler has only one function to increase the speed of execution or decrease the time of the whole program. Is there any relation between JIT compiler have any function with the checking of errors or something like that, or you just decrease the time?
As it is a compiler, it do checks the code definitely, and of course it also helps in reducing the time, and definitely do check the code. But there's always before that the execution engine does its works, and before that definitely the bitcode verifier also checks the code. So till the code reaches here, it will be verified multiple times.
Anybody else who can explain the working of JIT? Basically, JIT is just in time compiler. So whenever you try to execute your bytecode on a target machine, and target machine is having definitely target machine may have a different kind of architecture, right? So sometime it happens in the target machine, your program is not going to work very efficiently. So in order to optimize your program, it is further getting compiled as per the target machine. So it optimizes your code, and after optimization, your JVM runs your program very smoothly. I think somebody else is also having some question. You wanted to ask some question? Yeah, you can ask.
So in your PPT, you have explained about JVM. So how does the JVM manage memory, or how does the JVM manage memory for Java programs?
JVM manages memory dynamically, and it stores it in RAM, basically.
And whenever it is not required, automatically it is getting cleaned by your garbage collector.
Garbage collector.
Okay, I hope questions are over from your side, and the concept of this Java architecture must be very clear to all by now, because we had enough question answer session out here. So question answer session makes the session very healthy in order to understand the concept very better. And Janvi, once again, many thanks to you for giving a good presentation. And you try to explain the concept of Java architecture, and many people has asked the question, and having the question answer session, we had made it very clear. So thanks a lot to entire batch who has participated in this particular presentation. Thank you.